got here?
G-Money.
We're going to talk to you about Saxon.
Saxon! I wanted to talk about them forever. We finally got to see them this week.
By accident.
A lifelong dream come true. By accident.
Yeah. If we actually got tickets to go see UFO. Great show by UFO. Saxon were there.
We're there, hanging out.
I don't dislike Saxon, but at the same time, I don't own a Saxon album.
Okay, I don't own a Saxon album. I own a UFO album. So full disclosure on my part, neither band have ever been my favorite. And UFO, on them, they just kind of missed me. I didn't hear them back when I was a kid. They weren't on the radio. My parents didn't own UFO albums. I didn't know cool people who had UFO albums. I didn't hear them till many years later. So I like them now. Yeah, of course. They're a very good band. And Saxon, I remember them from the Pepsi Power Hour. And they were always a little goofy. And yet I wanted to see them live. And I'm glad I did. They're all 70 years old now. But they brought it. They're very good. They're one of the original... Okay, they're... Full respect to them, by the way. I'm laughing, but... New wave of British heavy metal,
they were in on it.
Huge. They were there. They were part of it. They were very influential.
Yep.
And they're still bringing it. Biff, the singer, he's still doing it. He's 67 or some shit.
It still sounds exactly the same.
Voice is still intact. Still brings it. Still delivers the goods. I don't know how many of that band was original. I think that there were at least 3 guys.
We were kind of arguing over that. We're not quite positive because a couple of them look disguised. But anyway.
Maybe. Yeah. So, and we were chuckling along. They're one of those, the truth of the matter is they, I believe they were the inspiration for Spinal Tap. That is Rob Reiner, when doing research for Spinal Tap, actually toured with Saxon. And apparently they did get lost on the way to the stage and had a pod or something that wouldn't open. And a lot of that was Saxon's doing. Yes.
That's why a lot of musicians, when they watch Spinal Tap, it's so true to life, because it's happened to all of us. Getting lost on the way to the stage, not knowing what friggin' city you're in, getting taxi cabs talking through your guitar. It's crazy.
Totally. Yes. I'm sure they could. They have a corresponding story to every crazy thing you've heard a rock band talk about.
Yeah.
And listen, who am I to judge? I haven't done shit. These guys have lived it for 40 years, and they've done it all.
They haven't given up.
They probably have a super cool life. Do you think they've made any money? I don't know. They never had a huge.
Yeah, I don't think they're in a mansion that they, they make
castles
a living.
Robert Plant and shit. But I think they're doing all right.
Nah, they're making a living.
Maybe
Biff is anyway. He probably writes most of it, so.
Probably. Here is.
But if you look at this video that we're going to talk about here, and then you put on your A, B, Spinal Tap, you'll get what we're talking about.
You'll figure it out. This is pretty much the first time I got to know Saxon from the Pepsi Power Hour, a staple of
that was something
after school life in the 80s. If you were our age,
you had to rush home for 5 o'clock.
Fucking right, yeah. Paper route could wait till this shit was over. People, and they knew. They were like, "Oh, it's Thursday." Yeah, my paper's not showing up till 6. They knew it. People understood. Oh, it's rated PG, by the way. That's good.
Oh, so your kids can watch this.
No, that's totally the drummer, by the way. We were talking about this earlier, how many of the members of Saxon were original when we were watching them, and I'm sure the drummer was an original member.
I'm not positive, and I'm definitely not positive about the guitar player. They had one guitar player that was he looked like he was 80 years old, the Crypt Keeper.
No, I think it's the guy here who's in the hat. I think it's the dude with the hat and the not metal looking guy. That guy, right there. That's him. I'm sure it was. We'll look it up. You'll see it in the pop-up video script.
Well, he did have a hat.
He had a hat.
He had the hat, right? He had the hat.
He had a hat. That guy was not the. Other guitar player was a newer guy from the 90s on, because they called him out and made a big deal about it.
Yeah, but he's still 80 years old.
Yeah, he's still
The bass player looked like he was in his 30s.
Biff. My God. Yeah.
You remember when you had the Beasties, like the armbands?
Yep.
Did
I
you
never
have
had
them? Never had them?
I had them later in my 20s when I was a poser.
So you didn't have
I
them in
didn't have
school?
them in the 80s.
You didn't have them in school?
No, God.
I got kicked out of class for
Mercy.
having those.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought it was...
And a buddy of mine, Tim Carlton, he had a bullet belt. He never got kicked out of class.
Did he have the wristband, though? Because you could assault somebody with a
Well, he
wristband.
had bullets on his belt.
Well, you can't assault somebody... Well, I guess if you pulled the belt off and hit people with it,
No.
you could have done that. What was their reason for kicking you out?
They thought it was a weapon.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the
But now I walked into, I think it was like all these shops in Italy. They all have those. Those are the fashion accessories now, like these beasties that we wore as fucking metal kids when we were young.
Well, like, look, this music that we're watching right now, this was like horrified people.
Yeah, now it's like
terrified them.
Now it's
quaint
rock and roll.
Now it's like, casinos, cruise ships. You can go see this stuff. We saw this in a soft seat theater where they have Cirque du Soleil and shit. We saw this in UFO.
To be fair, there were 4 pushing 70 gentlemen that were passing the joint around. One of them got kicked out. I think it was Santa Claus, actually.
They were directly in front of us. They were like, they were not young people, but I have a feeling it was not the first time they had gone to a rock show.
No.
Smoked up a doob and got kicked out.
No.
I think they were just kind of like reliving their youth from 50 years ago. My God, they were so old. They were busted. My God. Will we be that?
One, we don't do that, but
no,
2,
but still,
we don't look that bad.
God.
They look like they live a hard life.
We could have gone in so many different directions. Every now and then there's like a little window into like how it could have ended up.
Yeah. I think we've like dodged a lot of bullets.
We have.
A lot of bullets.
Very fortunate to be where we are.
Though I do like to drink.
That's fine. That's fine. Any proper maritimer. We know. Yeah. I think we've turned out quite well. Like, look at these. Okay, these kids in the audience here at this show. Okay, they're in their 50s and 60s now.
Yeah.
How do you think they all turned out?
I think a lot of them are dead. Excuse me, I've been ill lately.
But they had a good time before dying.
That's right.
I really hope.
Britain can be hard,
Is this in Britain?
I'm
Where
assuming.
was this shot?
They're British.
It's gotta be. Yeah.
Probably the Hammersmith. Everybody played the Hammersmith.
I bet this is the Hammersmith Odeon. Yes, it probably is.
You think these guys, Motorhead, Iron Maiden, like that whole genre, that was metal.
Okay, serious question though. Like, these guys were out of that sort of school of metal that became Metallica, and Metallica were highly influenced by Saxon.
They do.
A lot of bands
Motorcycle
were
Man, Double Kick.
A lot of bands were influenced by them.
Yes,
as
they
much
were.
As we snicker, very influential band, and a lot of bands that were influenced them went on to become much bigger, more successful.
That is true.
Do you think they're cool with that? Do you think they're bitter? How would you feel if you were in Saxon and you had like a pretty good living and bands that were influenced by you went on to become much bigger, but they were influenced by you? I think it'd be cool.
I think they're okay with it is simply because they reached a plateau and they knew they weren't going to get over it doing the music they were playing, right? So to have, I just watched a video the other day. Metallica invited Biff Bifford on stage to do Motorcycle Man, and you can't deny that that's pretty cool. Like, if I wrote a song and 20 years from now some band invites me up to say, you got to come up and play with us, this would be so cool if we got to play this with you. That's awesome.
I think you got to be pretty happy with that, even if that band like became way bigger and richer than you were. Like, the fact that you created something that meant that much to them, that they feel that way about you. I think that means more. I think it would. To me, it would. As long as I'm making enough money to feed myself and knowing that I created something that people meant that much to them. I think I would be happy with that.
I'm all right with that.
And in a weird way, that's the sense I got when I was watching Saxon. I feel like they kind of, this Biff dude like seems pretty comfortable in his skin, really.
Yeah.
He's up there, he's 60 fucking whatever years old, Wikipedia, I don't remember. But he still he looks pretty good, and he's doing his Saxon shit, and he's pretty comfortable in the fact that I'm the guy in Saxon. And you know what? Good on him.
Yeah, like it works for them. Think about that. You're doing the job you love, like most in the world for, what is it, 40 years now?
He never needed a real job. What more can you ask?
Yeah.
He never needed to like do a job working in a call center or, working in a shoe store.
A haberdashery.
A haberdashery.
What size would you like?
So we're all out. Could you come back next week? I could take your name down. He's never had to do that. He was just the dude in Saxon, and he's made enough money to hang out. And for all I know, he lives in a castle. I don't know how many records he sold, but all that influence, it's young dudes heard his music and went on to do this thing. That would be awesome. We all want to be the Rolling Stones and just like fill football stadiums forever.
Yeah.
But if you just got to that level where you were creating something,
it's a hard life, but still, you're doing what you love.
I think that would be pretty awesome. I think if I was that Biff dude, that you're doing real well. Yes.
It's like,
good for you, Biff Byford.
It's like Dio. Dio, he wasn't selling out stadiums, but he did what he loved till he kicked the bucket, man. And
he did, but really he should have got his prostate checked. Get your prostate checked. Get your prostate checked, motherfuckers. It's,
PSA.
Get your prostate checked.
Rabbit hole PSA.
Yes, do it.
Get some figures up your ass.
Yes.
As soon as you can.
Yes.
All right.